Hello, hello, it's JJ, and I could not be more thrilled to be here with you today. I have a very special guest, and her experiences, her talents, and how she opens up the path for so many is so marvelous. Today, I have Mary Langford with me today. Hello, Mary.
Hello, JJ. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here with you today. I love your work and I've reached out to you in various ways, but it's always that reference network. And I love the women that are coming to me in different ways, and Mary is one of them. So I really want to do a call out to Heidi and all the women that bring fabulous women to this community, because I really feel at this point it's been more of a referral network of fabulous energy practitioners that are helping many of us uncover what is possible. So, Mary, thank you for joining.
My pleasure.
So let's get started, because I think a lot of people with the title Akashic Records might be scratching their head thinking, well, what is that? It sounds interesting. Is it something that I can reach? Is it something I can do? So can you share a little bit about what are the records?
Yeah. So the idea behind the Akashic Records is that we are all a person. We house a soul, and that soul has existed from the beginning of time, and it has existed in many different bodies. So the memories, as crazy as this sounds, the memories of each soul contain every experience, good, not so good, indifferent, whatever. Every experience is imprinted in the memory of that soul. And so the Akashic Records refers to all of that information. And so I have learned, I've been granted access by the lords of the Akashic Records to access the wisdom held in your soul that soul has accumulated throughout the course of many different lifetimes. And it's very helpful for people because it gives you information that helps you move forward in your life and helps you on your soul's journey in a way that's as happy and pleasant and wonderful as humanly possible. And my readings give people that guidance as to how to get there. Homework sometimes.
So you're saying the soul that comes down into your body has a history, and that history is accessible, but only some people have the gifts, and that is one of your gifts, is accessing the memories of the soul.
Yes, the memories of the soul, but more importantly, the wisdom of the soul. So yeah, it's really incredible, the stuff that comes through. And I believe, like Akashic Records readings, my experience and that of many of my clients is that the information comes through at an even higher vibrational level than just like, say, a straight psychic reading. I don't know how, I can't really explain how it is, but I can tell you that's the experience of most of my clients.
I will agree. I have already had a session with you, and I'm already going to do another session, because for me, I think it was really about making sure I was on the right path, making sure I was using the tools I agreed to before I came down, and giving myself some security that what I've done before is exactly what I need to be doing to catapult me for what is next. And I think your special gifts and the time we spent together gave me that validation, but also the permission to keep going.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like when I'm giving someone an Akashic Records reading, I feel like Santa Claus because the information in there, even stuff that when it's looking back on a tough situation they've lived through or whatever, it's always from the point of view of spirit. So even if someone feels that they veered from their path, or if only I had done this differently, spirit really helps them see that what happened and what they did was exactly what it was supposed to be in order for them to get where they are right now. And the beginning of readings, what I love is that spirit tells people how spirit sees them. So you learn about, and it's very resonant for people, as you probably remember, JJ, spirit tells you exactly how you're seen in the eyes of God or spirit or however you view that source energy. And so it's very validating for people and comforting. Some people live their whole lives doing stuff for people anonymously, or people don't really understand how much they've struggled or suffered to help another person, but spirit sees it. And then spirit comes in and acknowledges all of these things that you've done for other people, that you're a great mom, that you're whatever it might be. So that's really, it's very satisfying for people. And like I say, every day feels like Christmas because they get, people get things out of the reading that, number one, they're not anticipating. And number two, that feel really good. You know, a lot of people come to me at a crossroads in their life and they're trying to see, do I go this way? Do I go that way? What's going to lie ahead if I do this or that? And my readings do tend to be pretty predictive. And I do have a track record of those predictions coming pretty true.
So Mary, this is like, I think some people might be listening and thinking, wait, what is this? Like you're reading the wisdom of your soul and you can get some insight of where you've been, what you've been doing, what's moving ahead. But for you and me, just talking about this, how did you understand or know this was available to you?
Well, I didn't even know what the Akashic Records were until right around the start of lockdown. A friend of mine recommended that I have an Akashic Records reading. I'm like, what the heck is that? But I trust her so much. Her name is Tara. I trust her so much. And so I said, okay, tell me who to call and do. I was kind of fascinated. I had like 3 readings for myself. Never thought that I would do it. And then I had a session with a woman who is a shaman to the shamans. And she told me, I'm so glad you have a good Akashic Records practitioner because she's training you how to do them. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm like, I don't think so. So fast forward maybe a year later, 9 months later, I started working in a healing modality called Body Talk with this woman named Catherine Ebacher, Body Talk Cincinnati. And at the end of each session, it's like a healing session. At the crazy as this sounds, JJ, at the end of each session, the body gives her homework that she gives to you. And so at the end of this one session, my body told her to tell me to get this book called How to Read the Akashic Records. I already had the book, didn't read it, never opened a page. I start reading the book. Oh, Spirit also said to me through Catherine, read to page 49, do what it says, and see what happens. So I start reading the book, and the first part of the book explains what are the Akashic Records, what kind of information can you access, and then page 49 gives you instructions as to how to access your own Akashic Records. And it says, give yourself 10 readings, like for practice, if you enjoy doing it. Then invite friends to have a reading with you and give them away free for like a month. And if you're good at it, you feel confident, then maybe think about starting a business. Well, I gave myself 3 readings. I'm like, dang, I can do this, And I have a lot of, very spiritually evolved women friends that have been in my life for 20, 25, 30 years. And I started calling them and saying, hey, I'm doing this. Can I give you a reading? And the feedback I got blew me away because these women are my spiritual teachers. And so it really encouraged me to move ahead. And I started collecting testimonials. Before you knew it, I got this great website and I've been doing readings. Now, it hasn't even been 2 years yet, but I have clients on 4 different continents. In addition to working for myself, I also do remote readings for a place called Mystic Journey Bookstore in Los Angeles. They're the largest metaphysical bookstore in LA, and they have clients from all over the world too. So I'm just super excited. I love my life. I never dreamed in a million years I would be doing something like this, but it's opening doors to a whole new life, not just for me, but for my clients too. So
that is for sure. That is for sure. And I just love that you listened to the whispers. I talk a lot about this in my next book, Seeking, and I feel like the whispers, the signs, the angels that cross our paths, especially, your friend told you to read this book and you did it right away. And the fact that you had it, I think, is even a larger sign. So I just think giving yourself the flexibility and permission to step into the whispers.
Yeah. And so I just want to say to anyone out there who may be thinking, I wonder if I can do this, get the book. Go to page 49, do what it says, see what happens. Because I believe a lot of people have this gift for themselves. I've had a couple clients go out and get the book. Actually, Spirit tells them in the middle of their reading to get the book because they have a gift and they get the book. And this one friend of mine, he gives himself readings like daily now. And he's just getting so much wisdom. I talk myself right out of the client, but I don't care. It's just, I want everybody to have the benefit of this information. It's life-changing.
I think that's absolutely amazing. Amazing. And so how do people prepare if they're going to do an Akashic record reading with you, which we'll talk a little bit about at the end? How do people prepare? Do they have to do anything to make it so?
No.
Like, how does this happen?
So the only thing I need to do to access someone's records is a request from them and their name. And then I say this pathway prayer that gets into their records. They do not have to ask any questions if they don't want to. I usually start, JJ, by telling people the first thing that will happen is Spirit will acknowledge you. And then Spirit will naturally move into either an area of difficulty in your life right now, or looking backwards in your life and seeing what you've overcome and allowing you to see how other people have seen you throughout your life. And then it moves into like conflict resolution, whatever it might be. And I always save time at the end for questions. I will ask somebody at the beginning of each reading, do you have specific questions? Would you like to start there? Or would you like to start with a general download, what's called download? Because I just access information, at Spirit's whim, not necessarily planned by you. Some people do come. I find I offer 55-minute readings and 25-minute readings now. And what I find when people come for a 25-minute reading is oftentimes they have specific questions and they're looking for answers to those. So be it guidance from work or significant other, are they coming or are they leaving, or am I on the right path for my life in general? So, yeah.
I love that. And, Mary and I are friends, quick friends. We met in the beginning of summer and we've been together already doing some light worker activities and gatherings. And I have in my phone Mary and Lucy. So do you want to share a little bit about Lucy?
Yeah. So this is a very funny story. So Lucy is my main spirit guide, and I always see her. I don't really quite see a face, but I see her that she's in spirit, but I can kind of see a human form. And I've always seen she has blonde hair to about here. And in people years, I would say she's probably in her early 50s or something. I never paid any attention to this, though. I knew that the same, chick showed up in all my readings. I experienced her kind of being here, right? So I have this astrologer friend who lives in Australia named Jackie Mendez. She's a numerologist, an astrologer, clairvoyant. She's like amazingly talented. And so she's giving me my very first reading. We have the same web designer. So our web designer hooked us up and we did a trade. So she's giving me my very first reading and she kept calling me Lucy. She said, da-da-da, Lucy. Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. Da-da-da, Lucy. I'm sorry, Mary. Why do I keep calling you Lucy? And then she goes, oh, is there like one spirit guide who shows up for all your readings? And I go, yeah, actually there is. And I have never really thought of it this way. And she goes, does she have blonde hair down to like here? And I go, yes, she does. And she goes, her name is Lucy. I'm like, oh my God, her name is Lucy. And then if you Google the word Lucy, it means light. Because people say, well, why Lucy? But Lucy means light. So I'm tapping into the light, but through the embodiment of this hilarious spirit guide whose name is Lucy. So she's not always funny. So, funny isn't always called for, but sometimes she says kind of funny things. And Lucy often, not always, but often loves to give people nicknames that are really fun for the people, really fun. And again, it's a nickname, sort of how spirit sees you. Yeah. I had one, the guy's name was Ryan, and spirit called him Ryan, the lovable lion, and if you look up the energy of a lion, it's just really beautiful, beautiful energy. So yeah, fun stuff like that.
Oh, this is so exciting. And I hope many of you listening will look up Mary Langford or join her in the community, because she has such wisdom that if you are called to this, if you want to learn more, it is very possible that your soul has wisdom that you need to tap into. And so, Mary, I know that you have a passion project you're working on. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I do. So I'm a follower of Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, who I started following during the lockdown. And I listened to 8, 10, 12, 14 videos a day, and they're all 10 to 14-minute clips that are taken from workshops with Abraham. So you can you can go to YouTube and search for Esther Hicks on divorce, marriage, infertility, accidents, catastrophic illness, you name it. You dream up something, it's in there, I promise. There are probably thousands of these available online. So I started listening and I just got like, oh my God, I kept moving up vibrational frequency. And one day I said, my friends thought I was nuts. I said, I'm getting $10,000. I don't know where from. I know I'm getting $10,000 and I don't have to work for it. Well, within a couple of months, I didn't get 10, I got 20. And my best friend inherited a bunch of money from somebody she didn't even know was sick. She ended up paying off all my debt, my car, my credit card debt, and my school, which was $20,000. Then I'm really hooked, right? So for my 65th birthday, which was this August, I treated myself to an Esther Hicks workshop on land in Boston. And when I was there, I got in the hot seat, which is the hot seat refers to you get called up by Abraham through Esther Hicks. She channels Abraham. And Abraham calls on people in the audience. Well, out of 1,000 people, they call up maybe 12 during the course of a 4-hour workshop, maybe 14. I was one of them. And so you get to ask whatever question. And I said, Abraham, I think I'm supposed to be on this 13-day Abraham Hicks cruise to New Zealand. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't have that kind of money. And Abraham goes, yep, you're going. It's already in your vortex, which you can watch Esther Hicks and figure out what that is. But, it's already meant to happen. All you have to do is get out of your own way, raise your vibrational level, do this, do that. I had to get in the vicinity of the cruise and then in the vicinity of the money. So I'm praying, setting my intention. And yesterday it hits me. I can raise the money to go on this cruise in a way that's going to help everybody. Myself to go on the cruise, to learn more so I can be an even better Akashic Records reader. But if anybody comes, so the crowdfunding source I'm using is called Fundly, like Fundly. I don't have my profile up yet, but it will be up maybe by the time this broadcast. So I'm going to call it Abraham Said So. And Abraham, I forget what it is. Abraham told me so. That's what it is. Because Abraham said I'm going on the cruise, right? And then we're going to explain about the law of attraction. I'm supposed to be on this cruise, but what I'm going to do is there's a minimum $5 donation, but everybody who makes a donation gets my ebook, My Awaken to Who You Are. It's called The Power of the Healing Power of the Akashic Records. So I'll get my ebook, then it moves up. So like for 125 donation, you get a reading, which is 150. And then at a higher level, then you get like a bundle, so you can give so many readings away as gifts or keep them for yourself, and you'll have a year to use them. And then, but each level you go up, it's kind of like PBS or something. Each level you go up, you get everything else. I forgot to say that the very first level after the $5 donation in the ebook will be, you get a 3-minute like mini reading with me for 10 minutes. And then other things, one of my things I'm most excited about is I'm going to host Come As You Are 5 years from now party. And so I'll facilitate this. And the idea behind it is, have you ever dreamed of writing a novel or going around the world or anything like this? And sometimes it's intimidating to give yourself a goal of 1 year, but we can all say 5 years from now, I can do this and that and this and that. So you come dressed as whatever it is. One woman I did this with, her dream was to live in a spa and go hiking in the mountains. So she showed up in a bathrobe with a mask on her face and said she gets facials and massages like every day. And then she goes hiking and she reads books, So it's just a really fun thing to do. Now, what's really cool is for anyone who reads about my background, I've had a really, really, really tough life. And I had 14 psychiatric hospitalizations in just 5 years, never having any history of mental illness until my mid-50s. So there's an organization. Sorry. It really helped save my life. And it's called the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, NAMI.org. And so 3% of every dollar I raise to help get me on this cruise to New Zealand, pay for my airfare, pay for my cruise, and so on. Every dollar, 3% of every dollar I raise, I'm going to donate right back to NAMI. So it's a win-win. I get to go on this cruise and become an even better Akashic Records reader and law of attraction promoter. And you get, all these really fun things as a result of doing it. So it's great. And law of attraction has meetup groups all over the world. So I'm going to post there. And then I'm part of an Infinite Possibilities group, and I'm going to post there. And so, and maybe the people who watch this will want to share the post. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you for asking me to share that. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Mary, I'm so excited for you. But more than that, it's about putting out where you want to step into next, aligning with the energy or frequency that is calling you, and asking the universe to help you. And I think for all of us, getting comfortable with that opens up so many possibilities. And your story and your Fundly account gives us all permission to think big and believe it is so. And that's the power of us coming together in this way.
Yeah, that's truly right. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us. I know you have a profile in the community, Together We Seek, and I cannot wait to see pictures. And I look forward to investing in your Fundly account because I want to gift some of the things that you're doing to people in my network too. Because I believe if we raise the frequency of more women, we will change the trajectory of the planet.
We will. And JJ, I just have to say, I love what you're doing. I think it's amazing how you took a background in the corporate world and were excellent at what you did and super successful. And you moved into doing this line of work and, helping women like all of us just reach our full potential and move into higher and higher vibrational levels in our own lives, which always translates to happiness and joy, which is how God wants us to live anyway. Spirit, source, God.
All the above. I love it, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.